You are very welcome back to the show. Thousands of you entered our Eye on Nature competition. The hard work of judging it has been done and the photos have been whittled down to 12 finalists.
Yes, we're going to find out who the overall winner is after 5 o'clock. But now, let's go back to Derek Mooney to meet the remaining finalists at the Botanic Gardens in Dublin. Over to you, Derek.
Thanks very much. Earlier we met 6 of our finalists. We've got 12 here today. One will be crowned the winner of the RTE1 Nature Wildlife Photography Competition Photographer of the Year later on. I'm meeting one of our judges now. This is Mike. Mike, you're a professional photographer. All right.
Yep.
So you know how hard it is to get a good picture.
I do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, look, I think you have to put time and effort into getting great nature shots like these, and they are fantastic. What I think about these, seeing them printed up like this, it's just fantastic to see the quality. And I would confidently say that any of these would grace the pages of magazines or newspapers anywhere in the world.
And that's the best compliment you can pay any of the 12 finalists here today.
Absolutely, they're all fantastic, and I'm absolutely thrilled with what we've seen in this competition.
Yeah, and it's not easy to get these shots, is it?
No, there's hard work. I know. I was talking to some of the contestants here, and you know, they've spent a lot of time just spending time with the animals, trying to get the best pictures they can.
Yeah, you have to know the animal, don't you? You have to know your subject, as they say.
Absolutely.
And as I look at these pictures, Mike, I've watched people walking around having a look at them. They're studies. They're not just photographs. They're studies.
Absolutely. It's an involvement with the creatures, you know, that really shines through. It's great, and it's fantastic to see all of them here today.
And the great thing about wildlife photography, and you'll know as a wildlife photographer, that it captures that moment in time. I mean, thankfully, all these animals we have here now in Ireland, but who knows what will be in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. There's just great diversity in all the pictures as well. And
so it's an accurate record of that place and that time, isn't it?
Superb.
Mike Brown, thank you very much indeed,
problem.
one of our judges. Let's move on now to Tristan Brennan. And Tristan's photograph, as you can see, is of 2 badgers. Hello, Tristan. Tell me about your photograph.
Hi, I took this photograph about 8 o'clock in the evening last May at a local wildlife conservation area run by the National Trust called Mount Stewart. And I spent a lot of time volunteering, taking and documenting pictures of the local wildlife. And I spent 6 or 8 weeks last May and June focusing on this family of badgers. There were 3 cubs and 2 adults. Mm-hmm. And this particular image is from the very first evening. And it's a fantastic location. The set entrance is just behind this tree stump. And it's on elevated ground, so I can get the camera nice and low to get at eye level with the badgers. And there's a glade just behind. You can see the sunlight coming in, which is otherwise a very dark forest, very hard to get photographs in. And I chose this photograph. It was just particularly striking and unique. Out of all the hundreds of photographs I took, it was the only one where the mother climbed up onto the tree stump, and you can see that the stump has been worn down over years of being used as a scratching post and sharpening their claws. And then her cub, he comes along and he's locking eyes and he can't get up, and he's asking, let me up, Mum, and he couldn't, and he couldn't then, but 2 weeks later he could, which was great.
Oh, it's a terrific photograph, I must say. It really is. Are you a fan of badgers?
I'm a fan of all wildlife.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
You know, because
particularly
some people like
foxes.
badgers and some people don't like badgers. I personally love them.
As do I.
Yeah, well, thank you very much indeed, Tristan.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you. Jimmy McDonald is next. Another red squirrel. Matthew mentioned we have several red squirrels. Look at this guy. Isn't he just beautiful? Jimmy, how are you?
Well, Derek, I really have to thank the squirrel for
Yes.
striking this pose, because I've taken many hundreds of images of squirrels and have not got quite the right pose, but this is just perfect. And as you can see, it's very cool tones running through the bottom of the picture, and the background is out of focus, so it gives an impression. It's quite painterly. And
Yes,
it's
it is.
a kind of a style that I strive to achieve in both my landscape and wildlife image making. But it's all about the squirrel and that little bit of personality. And that's really it. It's quite a simple image.
It certainly has. And you've taken this in Newcastle in County Wicklow.
In a local woodland close to Newcastle in
Yeah.
County Wicklow, and I've used a little pop-up hide. Sit inside with a sandwich, a flask of tea, and
You were down for the day until
many
you get your
hours
picture, yeah.
snapping away.
I was in
yeah.
Newcastle the other day recording the Dawn Chorus for next Saturday
That's
evening
right,
at
the
Back
East
of
Coast
Tape.
nature,
It
yeah.
was beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Newcastle is beautiful. That is a wonderful picture. Congratulations,
Thank you
and
very
best of
much,
luck to you.
Derek.
Let's move on now. Peter O'Toole, a very famous name, Peter O'Toole.
Hi, Derek.
Is that you, Peter? How are you? And it's a stag roaring,
Yeah.
a big
Well,
stag.
It's a native stag as well. It's a native Irish red deer, and there's a native population in Kerry, mostly confined to Killarney National Park. And I worked in Canary National Park for 40 years as a conservation ranger. So I worked for 20 of those years on deer management, etc.
So you know your subject.
Yeah, and I love my subject, and I have a great interest in the native population, especially. And I try to capture this guy in his more, we'll say, preferred habitat. That's some people think that red deer belong in the mountains, and they don't really. That's a poor habitat for a large animal like a red deer, and they do very poorly in a habitat like the mountain, habitat. So a red deer is an animal of the woodland edge. So I captured this guy at the edge of the woodland. It was pouring rain, and you can see it was during the rut, the mating season, and a master stag who holds hinds and who will successfully mate with hinds.
He's the boss.
He will frequently roar like you see this guy roaring here. So he's more or less saying to the challenging stags, you come and challenge me, I'm the boss, I'm the master. And they're known as a master stag, the stag that holds the hinds and successfully mates with them.
How many points?
He has 14 points, so that's good for a wild red deer. 16 we class as very good, and then from 12 to 16 would be kind of in the category of the master stag range. When they're mature, the stags. But this guy was a large-bodied animal, and you can see the swollen neck muscles with the mane that they develop around the time of the rut. And the
It
idea
means business. I have to say to you, Peter, it is a terrific picture. I feel like I'm there. I feel like I need a raincoat standing beside it because of the rain. Well done to you. Let's move on now to Declan Roche. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes,
Declan Roche. Declan, this is terrific.
Thank you.
What are these birds doing?
Well, these birds live in one of Dublin's parks. So this one was taken in Poppintree Park in Finglas. So unlike the most of the other photos here, this one is actually taken in the center of the city. So, and that's actually why I selected the photo, because you can clearly see that there is a fountain, something man-made, and I actually wanted to show that you can find wildlife in the city as well, that you don't need to go far from the city.
And they're black-headed gulls.
They are black-headed gulls.
A very common species here in Ireland.
Yes.
Do you think they're having a shower?
They might have, yes.
I spoke to my colleague Niall Hatch, and Niall looked at this picture and he thought that's what they were possibly doing, that they're using this fountain as a source of water to clean off any debris that may be on the wings. They fly through it just to skim it and get rid of all that debris and get rid of the salt that may have accumulated in the feathers. And he thinks that's what's going on. We can't be sure, but it really is a terrific composition.
Thank you.
Well done to you, Declan.
Thank you.
Okay, oh, look at this. These are frogs, and this picture was taken by Paddy Tubert. 3 mating frogs. This is Paddy's wife. Paddy can't be with us today. Hello, Joan, how are you? So tell us a little bit about the picture.
He took the photograph in Avondale, in Waterford City, and he's never come across 3 together, so he was just lucky that he came on to him. And it's just unbelievable.
It's a moment in time, it really is.
Yeah. He said
because this is taken during the mating season.
Yeah, in February.
And usually the males grab onto the females until she releases the sperm. And then they will fertilise externally the sperm outside. But there are 3 here.
Yeah.
And it's usually the female is bigger than the male.
Yeah.
So on this occasion it looks like that this is the female who's grabbed hold of the male. It could be wrong, of course, but usually the females are bigger than the male. But it's a terrific picture.
Yeah.
And you can see the variety of colour in the frogs. This is the common frog we have in Ireland. And they're not all the same colour. People think they're different species. They're not. It is the common frog, the one we have here in Ireland, the different colours. But it is a terrific picture.
Yeah. He didn't think that he'd be more excited than the frog.
Well, listen, it's a lovely picture. Thank you very much.
Very much.
And hello to Paddy at home, and I'm sure he's watching in. So well done to him. We'll find out how he gets on. Next up, we've got Declan Roche. So Declan, red squirrel drinking water. That's exactly what it is.
Red squirrel, Derek. Thank you. That photograph was taken in December, just of last year.
Oh wow, yeah.
I was spending a few hours taking photographs of him, and all of a sudden he made a beeline for the water for a quick drink. I'd say he was there, 4 or 5 seconds maximum. And I was lucky to get a few shots, and off he went again.
Where did you take it?
In Ballyfin in County Laois.
Okay, and is it known for its red squirrel population?
It is, as far as I know, on the forest there, yeah.
Because as I kind of alluded to earlier, the red squirrel was pushed out by the grey squirrel that was brought in from North America.
Yes.
But in some places the red squirrels are kind of holding on, and in some other cases they're making a little bit of a comeback, we hope. So it's good to highlight the species here. That's the great thing about this competition. It's highlighting species. But look at the reflection. Isn't that just terrific?
Because no one's actually touching the water there, you know. As I say, 4 or 5 seconds and he was gone again. You know?
Well, it really is lovely. I have to say, all of the pictures have really touched me, and this competition has engaged with the viewers and the listeners to the radio programme in a way that a lot of other stuff just simply doesn't. I don't know what it is. You like wildlife photography, I take it.
Absolutely love it, Derek.
Have you been doing it for long?
12 years now.
12 years?
12 years, yeah, as a hobby.
Okay,
When
and
I'm
have you
on the
won
golf
many
club.
competitions?
I won one a few years ago, and Tashka won it, a clean coast competition.
Okay, very
I won
good.
it last year, actually.
So here you are this year, one of the finalists.
And again, delighted
Well,
to
listen,
be
I
here.
wish you the best of luck. Indeed, I wish all of our 12 finalists the very best of luck. We will be finding out who will be crowned the 2022 Photographer of the Year, the RTEI Nature Wildlife Photographer of the Year, before the end of the programme. So you'll just have to kind of keep your fingers crossed and get yourself a cup of tea and get ready for all the excitement which we're building up to, which is going to happen a little bit later on. See you later. Bye!